Hey everyone, it's Talia here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I have for you guys a new KoKo and Claire collection. It is their Easter collection, which features a lot of really nice light pastel colors. So in this video, we are going to do a bunch of swatches of the new colors so you can see how they apply, but I'm also going to do a little bit of a nail art demo for you guys, and it's something that is super easy, and that is really simple polka dots. Now the reason that I'm showing you guys this is because it was something that I wish I would have known back in the day when I first started doing my nail art journey. So let's dive in and get started with this collection. Last year, KoKo and Claire launched a vintage collection, and I just wanted to do a bit of a comparison here with the lids so you guys can see how the collections vary. So the top is the new Easter collection, and then the bottom is the vintage collection. And you can see here that the vintage collection is a little bit more muted, a little bit more brighter, and the Easter collection is definitely more of like an off-white colored collection, in case you were wondering how the two different ones varied and you were trying to decide between the two of them. Number 151, called Fuzzy Duckling, is a nice yellow, kind of like off-white color. They're all going to be like off-white colors. So they just have like a little bit of a pigment to them, which I love these type of pastels, obviously, especially for spring, but also throughout the year too, if you're looking for different lighter shades that you can mix and match with, say, brighter ones. Now this one, actually, I think all of them had to go on in 2 coats. I definitely found that you wanted to build these up a little bit, and that can be kind of the issue with lighter pastel colors, is sometimes they might just need a little bit of extra coats to build them up so they don't look streaky or off-white. But this one turned out really nice with just 2 coats. Number 152, called Lil Lamb, is a pink for a pastel color. You guys are going to see later on here that there is another pink color, and this one is a little bit brighter than that one, and we will see that comparison kind of at the end when I show you guys all of the colors. But think of this one as, again, an off-white pink, but a little bit brighter. When I was swatching it, I thought of it kind of as like a light piggy pink, if that makes sense, and this one went on really nice in 2 thin coats. Lushing Blue, again, is an off-white blue color, and it's a little bit more muted. I wouldn't call this particularly like a super light sky blue. To me, it has a little bit more of a muted grayish tinge to it, but just slightly. And this one went on really nice in 2 thin coats as well. Fresh Mint, number 154, is a light green, but to me it was a little bit brighter than, say, an off-white green. Now this one went on in 2 coats, but I feel like you might want to add a 3rd one just to build it up a little bit more. The swatch stick that I'm going to show you guys here is just 2 thin coats though, so if this was the look you were going for, it would work really nicely with that. For 155, Barely Blush, this one I would say is an off-white pink. It is a lot lighter, in my opinion, than the previous one that I shared with you guys, and this one I found actually went on really nice. And sometimes when you get those off-white pinks, it can be kind of hard to avoid that streakiness, and I didn't find that this happened as long as I did 2 thin coats with this particular pink color. Number 156, Peachy-Keen, is a light coral. I love this color, and I find these colors just so popular for spring, so I was really excited to see one in this particular launch. And this one I found, again, went on in 2 nice thin coats. If you wanted to build this one up a little bit more, I might suggest 3, but I don't really know if it's overly necessary for it. I was really happy with how it applied with the 2 as well. The last color in the collection, number 157, Lush Lilac, is an off-white purple. I think it is the true definition of an off-white purple, and this one I was pleasantly surprised with how it applied. I found 2 thin coats worked really nicely with this, and it didn't have any streaking when I was applying it, anything like that. I really love the shade of this. You guys know that I'm a sucker for lilac colors, so this one is like right up my alley. This is the KoKo and Claire Easter collection, so you guys can see here how the pinks vary a little bit. You can also get a better look at the coral, and I can show you guys here how it is a really nice off-white color. If you were trying to decide between getting like an off-white collection or a vintage collection, I think that's just such a tough call, but I feel like you might get a little bit more use out of the off-white collection that this Easter one poses. I find I gravitate towards these colors, like I mentioned, all year long, not just during the springtime. Now on to the demo here. I'm just going to take some of the 151 and just do a thin coat on my swatch stick. And I wanted to explain to you guys a little bit more why I'm showing you how to do polka dots, because for some of us kind of more advanced nail artists, not that I think I'm a crazy advanced nail artist, but when I was first starting out and I would just do polka dot nails, I would kind of place them all over the nails randomly. I didn't really know that there was kind of a systematic approach to doing it. Now, I feel like there is a time and a place for random polka dots too, but generally if you kind of want that more systematic, cohesive approach, this is how you would do it. And I wanted to show you two different ways to do it using different size ends on a dotting tool. So this is the second coat of this color, and I'm just going to cure it. And then I'm going to take some of the other colors from this collection and just place them on a little tile here. Now, I did want to do a little disclaimer here. You do not need this much polish. I don't really know what happened to me applying this on here, but I definitely was putting way too much on, and a little bit goes a long way for any of the nail art that I've been trying to do with the KoKo and Claire brand. After my second coat has cured, I'm going to take the KoKo and Claire matte and just go in and do a matte top coat on this. This is not overly necessary. I've just been finding that I prefer to do art on a matte top coat versus removing the dispersion layer and doing it right on there, because sometimes I find that it can slip around and it just doesn't look as good. So the first thing that I wanted to say when you're doing your polka dots, especially if you're doing bigger ones, is to make sure you're holding your dotting tool straight up and down. And when you're lifting up, you're going really slow to avoid getting the little loops that can cause it to kind of mess up. And when you're doing your polka dots, especially the large ones, I suggest curing in between each line. I like to start doing my polka dots right down the middle, and then when I go on to the other sides, I'm just putting my polka dots in between the little gaps a little bit to the right of it, and this will make it look a little bit more cohesive. I also, in this particular nail design, wanted to use a bunch of different colors to make it look like it was kind of a rainbow, so I am going like in a rainbow order, if that makes sense. So I'm doing like my greens and my blues on the left, and I'm going to do my pinks and my corals on the right here as well. And sometimes when you're doing your polka dots, you need to kind of take a step back and just see how it's looking cohesively, because sometimes you might want to go back in and add a little bit more dots here and there, which is what I ended up going back in and doing with the purple here as well. So you want to try and make sure that you're dotting them enough so that they look like a similar size, but the most important part is to make sure you are doing them where the gaps meet, if that makes sense. So I am going to go in and top gloss this after I've cured my little dots, and you guys will notice here that it's going kind of lumpy and bumpy. I don't really like this look. So after I've cured my top coat, what I'm going to do is take a file here and just kind of buff it down a little bit more. Now, because we're using a top coat on top of this, there is not very much, I guess, strength or separation between the color and the gel, so you might get some of that color filing off. It's okay, as long as it's cured properly, it's okay to file a little bit of that off, because we will go in and top gloss this on top of it after. All I'm really doing here is making it so that the color isn't as lumpy and bumpy when I'm going to go in and top gloss. This is actually one reason why I prefer to embed my products, is because I can do this afterwards versus doing it on top, which is what you would do with gel polish. So after I have it kind of buffed where I want it, I'm going to just wipe off the dust, make sure you get all the dust off, and then I'm going to go in with a matte top coat, because I just kind of like the look of it. You could go in with your shiny top coat and just apply a coat of that to complete the look here. For some reason, I'm really liking doing matte in these demos for you guys. I feel like it kind of pops a little bit more, and I'm able to show you exactly what I'm doing. So on to our second polka dot one. This one I find is a little bit easier. I'm going to take some of the blushing pink color and just go all over the nail in two thin coats again. This color makes such a nice background. I was actually really impressed with how nice it applied for a background purpose. I am going to go in and matte top coat this one again, just so the dots don't kind of slip around when I am applying them. I am going to add some of the yellow color to my tile because I want to try and incorporate that into the polka dot design as well. Now I do find the smaller polka dots are easier to apply because you don't have to worry about that little tail kind of dragging. You can kind of see it when I lift up there. Sometimes if you go too quick, it kind of like falls over and then it gets in the way of the actual polka dot and you have to wipe it off. So it doesn't normally happen as much if you're doing the smaller dots, and I even find that I can do 2 colors at once and then cure versus the bigger dots where I like to cure in between just in case I mess them up. But this one, you're doing the exact same thing. You're going to start right down the middle and then you're going to move to one of the sides, and on the other side you're going to do it kind of in the little gap there. I just find this looks so much better, so much more cohesive. I do feel like there's a time and a place to do kind of random dots depending on the type of design that you are doing as well. I do find these type of polka dots make an excellent accent nail, or if you were looking to have a really nice Easter design but you didn't want to wear like bunnies or something like that on your nails, this one looks springy as well, but it also can meet the needs of an Easter design too. So same type of thing, I am trying to make it look like a rainbow, so I do want to make sure that it's flowing in my rainbow order. And in this design, I did just go in and top coat it and not buff it because I felt like they didn't raise as much as they did in the big one, so it was easier to kind of camouflage the bumpiness of it. But I hope this helped you guys. If any of you out there were kind of struggling with polka dots, I know it is a really easy nail art for some of us that have been doing nail art for a while, but if you're just kind of starting out or maybe wanted a little bit of tips on how to do better polka dots, this is the video for you guys. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure that you guys are following me on all of my social media. With the times right now, I know a lot of us are having to close our door to clientele, me included, and Ivory and I wanted to do something really special, and this Saturday night we are going to do a live video in my Facebook group, and we're just going to get together and do some nail art, and I hope that you guys will join us for it as well. There's more information for that live video in my Facebook group, and there's a link in the description box below always, so make sure you join. Come and hang out with us on Saturday night, and hopefully it'll take our minds off of what's going on in the world right now. That's kind of our intention with it. We just kind of wanted to have a little bit of a distraction from the seriousness of everything that is happening right now. But hope to see you guys on Saturday night, and stay tuned for some more videos to help us all get through this.